What? The rich, the wealthy are planning to leave the United States if Trump wins? Well, that's a threat. Guys, welcome to the channel, The Modern Survivalist. Realistic survival and preparedness is what we do here. And part of that is this, analyzing the political, social context in which we are. And apparently, based on what CNBC is telling us, a record number of wealthy Americans are making plans to leave the U.S. after the election. Now, it's not if Trump wins. They're just planning on leaving after the election no matter what. Am I reading that correctly? Because it is usually the case that there's this drama of, oh, if this guy wins, I'm leaving. Or the other way, oh, if Kamala leaves, I'm leaving. I'm not going to stay with that woman in power. Well, I think that in both cases, it's a little bit dramatic in terms of, yes, if there's a continuity of politicians of the same line and a tendency towards more authoritarian regimes, more government, more meddling with the affairs of private citizens, I see how that can be very concerning, and you would consider leaving, right? Example, Venezuela, right? Venezuela, you have a very, very socialist government in place, and the next one is the same thing, and the next one is the same thing, and eventually you realize there's really no democracy here anymore. There's no democratic process by which someone kind of different is being elected. No, it's just bullshit. It's just tyrannical government by a socialist regime. That's what you have in Venezuela. So you definitely would want to leave. And what I do here is try to analyze all of these things so as to make a decision before it gets to that point. Once you have a tyrannic socialist government in place, it's kind of late. You should have left before it got to that. So that's why we need to understand and analyze these things. So attorneys and advisors to family office, high net worth families said they've seen strong demand from clients looking for a second passport or long-term residence abroad. Rich have been increasing. Interesting. So it's not saying specifically that this is what we've never seen demand like we see now, said Dominic Volek, group of friends. They're not saying that specifically because of Trump or because of Kamala Harris. It apparently is that in general, people are looking to leave. Now, it's been the case that in recent years, and I'm talking about, and this is something I got consulting on as well, with both Trump and Biden, with both presidents. There's been people that, hey, you know what? I don't want to stay with this guy in office. So there's a little bit of that. I think that it's been many years now since a lot of people have been disenchanted with what the United States is offering for people and the interest of, well, what about South America? What about Panama? What about Portugal? What about this or that? There's that interest. Then some people will immediately dismiss that, like, oh, no, there's no place like home, beacon of freedom, most free country in the planet, and so on. And then there's others that look at it and I don't know, exactly, depending on what. How do you measure how free you are or not? Is it what? Based on actual physical freedom of how many people are incarcerated? The United States is number one of all developed countries. The largest percentage of incarcerated population in any developed country by far. So it's not that. Is it about wealth? Well, that's a strong case. There's countries that are wealthier by capita. Switzerland would be a country that is mostly a lot of very rich and very upper middle class people. So if you want to surround yourself with the opposite of the poors, if that's an appeal that you find, well, Switzerland is where you have a lot of very rich people with very rich neighbors and kind of hanging up around their rich friends. It wouldn't be the U.S. And again, it really depends on what you're looking at. It has to be taking into consideration that not all states are the same. What you have in terms of life, quality, and style is not the same in New York, LA, or in a small town in Texas or Nebraska or a number of other states that you have, in Florida. Yeah, losing my voice already here. But it's I don't know if it's directly linked to one or the other. If it is, I think it's sort of dramatic exaggeration, because just one guy or the other winning or not does not change the course of the country. It's the tendency. It's a repetition of similar policies showing up. Now, I thought this was nice. Like, how much is it to actually buy a second citizenship? Austria, substantial economic contribution. Malta, Turkey. So you have some here. If you have, like $500,000 buys you European citizenship, pretty solid. I would assume in most countries. You have to make a significant investment that for really rich people is not that significant, so you can get it. What I always encourage people to do is look into their ancestry, because there's a good chance that you have some family from the old continent. You may have that citizenship without spending really anything at all, just presenting the right paperwork. If you have Italian, Irish, German family, yeah, it has to be kind of recent, but it will depend on each country. Maybe Italy is one of your best shots, but yeah, always worth looking into, especially if you have that ancestry. I would definitely get it. As you see, people pay good money for that, man. People pay good money for that second passport. It is absolutely worth it. I cannot emphasize that enough. So if that's in your cards, by all means, do get it. Oh, yeah, there's some more here. Right, there you go. $500,000 for Spain, $250K for Portugal, Italy. Oh, Italy is kind of affordable. Permit movement, all right. Switzerland is also nice. Yeah, Swiss, just leave it to the Swiss. They find ways of making that shit work. Yeah, so guys, that's going to be all for now. A lot of people may be thinking about it, but yeah, just keeping an eye on things, right? What would happen if, I don't know, Kamala Harris wins? And then you have another Kamala Harris, 8 years of Kamala Cackle Harris as president. I won't deny that it would be kind of funny. It would be pretty catastrophic in some aspects, but you will be entertained. Guys, it's going to be all for now. See you in the next video. Take care.